के खिलाड़ियों का प्रदर्शन बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं रहा है।
मेडल तो अपने छोरे भी ला सके हैं भाई साहब।
कभी अखाड़े में उतर के देख, लंगोट से पहले हवा टाइट हो जाएगी।
आपकी लगता है कई बार हुई है भाई साहब हवा टाइट।
माँ के पेट से मरघट तक है तेरी कहानी, पग पग प्यारे। दंगल 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 दंगल, सूरज तेरा चढ़ता ढलता गर्दिश में करते हैं तारे। दंगल दंगल दंगल।
चोरी कहा छोरे से दंगल लड़वाओगे? भाई आपको अपनी इज्जत प्यारी ना है तो ना सही, हमने अपनी इज्जत बहुत प्यारी है भाई।
तेरी इज्जत तुम्हें यहीं उतार दूंगा।
मंदिर साहब
ठोस मजबूत भरोसा अपने सपनों पे करना, जितने मुंह उतनी बातें, गौर कितनों पे करना। आज लोगों की बारी, जो कहे कह लेने दे, तेरा भी दिन आएगा उस दिन हिसाब चुका।
तो आप ही बता दो, मेडल जीतने के लिए किस तरह कुश्ती लड़ी जाती है?
मेरा बस चला है तो मैं अभी यहीं आपको बता दूं कि कुश्ती किस तरह लड़ी जाती है। हारना नहीं है गीता।
हर भेड़ की हाहाकार के बदले शेर की एक दहाड़ है प्यारे। दंगल दंगल, सूरज तेरा चढ़ता ढलता गर्दिश में करते हैं तारे। दंगल 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 दंगल, सूरज तेरा चढ़ता ढलता गर्दिश में करते हैं तारे। दंगल 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 दंगल।
Good evening, everybody. How is the energy? Show me some energies. How is the energy? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. There is something common between all of us. We are not here to fight any dangal, but every day we are fighting dangal. Some to manage our relationships, some to manage our employees, some to manage our bosses, some to manage even ourselves. But the point is, today we are not going to have any wrestling match. Today we are going to compete with words. We're going to have a dangle of words. Right? So is everybody excited, charged up for the same? Give me a thumbs up. Deepa is not charged up. Mani, hi Sharad, hi Kinjal, hi Sridhar, hi Sitesh, Kiran. Good to see you all. Fantastic. Beautiful. So let's start because we have lots to cover and I appreciate all of you coming in before time because I wanted to complete a particular module before we actually move into the first championship that I've planned for all of you, right? So without further ado, today we are going to learn how can you become a master storyteller. And storytelling and public speaking are basically matches made in heaven. They are like husband and wife. One cannot exist without the other. जो खाए वो भी पछता है, जो ना खाए वो भी पछता है. We have heard that many times, right? It's the same case with public speaking and storytelling. And today we are in the first part because storytelling is a module which I want to lay more emphasis on. So today's part 1 of how you can become an effective storyteller. So without further ado, yes. Imaginary cups, real cups, doesn't matter. Yes, hold it here. Close your eyes. Might have been a very stressful day, boss problem, family problem, relationship problems, didn't get chance to do workout, health problems, all those problems, dump it here, dump it in this mug. Even if you're happy, if you're excited because we have a competition, you're fearful, you're nervous, it's but natural, it's okay. Just let it go, let all those feelings go. Let it in this mug. Let it come in this mug. Fill this mug. Fill this mug with all your emotions, both positive and negative. Right? Now, slowly, with your eyes closed, turn it upside down. Let's empty our cups. Let's empty our cups to the last drop. Shake it till the last drop. Yes. Perfect. Give me a thumbs up. Who has emptied their cup? Give me a thumbs up. Brilliant. Brilliant. So let's start. There are so many things that are happening in our lives every day. So many incidents. When you learn something from this incident and you share it with the world, you grow both personally and professionally. And you can only share these incidents, which I call as stories. Stories are what? They are incidents that happen in your day-to-day lives. So stories can help you build your personal and professional relationships. So I was recently writing an article on storytelling and I went on Google to search for some images. So I typed storytelling in Google search and this is what showed up. Children's stories. So whenever we have the keyword stories and we search it on Google, we get these children's stories. Then what I did is, because I wanted some stories which resonate with us adults, so I typed adult stories. And I don't want to take you to what results I found, that you can do it in your spare time, but it was basically some 18+/explicit content, which I cannot share here. But you can definitely have a look when you have some spare time. So the point is that I'm trying to drive is what we have been made to believe. We've been made to believe that stories are just made for kids. This is a myth we need to get over. We remember stories as something we used to listen as kids, or now we tell to our kids. And I remember when I used to tell stories to my dad, I used to do it in a very exaggerated fashion, moving my hands and sometimes even my legs, raising my voice unnecessarily. And that is how I used to narrate a story. Today, many public speakers make use of stories. But the problem with them is when they go on the stage or when they go in the conference room, they say, today I want to share a story with all of you. And this is exactly the pattern that I've realized when I saw some of your videos on Facebook. Of course, I did not get an opportunity to give my feedback, but yes, in a day or two, you'll have the feedback as well. But many of you explicitly mentioned that I want to share a story or I want to tell you all a story. Never do that. Imagine for a moment that you are meeting one of your old friends in a coffee shop and you want to tell him a lot of things that have happened or transpired in your life. So the best way to do that is through stories. But you will not be like, come XYZ, I will share a story with you, or I would like to tell you a story. You just start the story. In the next 2 or maybe 3 sessions, you will learn how you can slowly integrate stories into your day-to-day conversation also. So that the other person, the person in front of you, or the people in front of you, do not even know that you're using stories. Now, my question to all of you is, why do we need stories? Or why, as a public speaker, you need to also be a good storyteller? Type it in the chat box. Why a good public speaker needs to be a good storyteller? Type it in the chat box. Sitesh says it increases the interest. Yes. Sridhar says it helps to connect with people. Mani says to be relatable with everyone and convey the message. Deepa says story captures the audience's attention more than facts. Yes, absolutely. Facts tell, stories sell. That's very right, Deepa. Kinjal says to convey your message. Sharat says it's part of speaking which is easy to relate, intrinsic. Very true. Kiran says gives clear understanding of our topics. All of you are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But there are two main reasons why you should be a good storyteller, or why you should use stories in your day-to-day conversations or when you're doing public speaking. The first reason is stories have the power to keep your listeners hooked. The chances of people listening to you increase many-fold, multiple-fold when you share stories. If you're a student of storytelling, your audience will be like, okay, tell me more. Tell me more. I want to listen to you more. Tell me more. I have asked this question to all of you who have joined from my webinar and also during our last few sessions, that it happens so many times that we are sitting in the audience and the speaker is speaking and we are not listening to him. We are only passively listening to him, not actively listening to him. We are actually thinking about something else. Remember that 90% of people are not listening to you when you are speaking. Rings any memory bells? Give me a yes. Give me a yes if yes, Sharat says yes, Mani says yes. Which means, what is the guarantee that next time you are on the stage or you're in the conference room, that 90% people will not be listening to you actively, but passively and thinking about something else? The guarantee is stories. We humans are hardwired to listen to stories. Since the time we were cave dwellers, so many millions of years back, the men used to come and share stories with the women. That impress the women. Stories. Stories sell. Next time, it doesn't matter if it is your boss, it is your better half, it's your friend, it's your kids, it just doesn't matter. If you want people to listen to you, if you want to grab opportunities, stories will increase the chance of people to listen to you. It will increase their focus. It will increase their attention to whatever you have to say. Second reason, stories have the power to impact decisions. We'll be covering this in our next session, but stories actually have a scientific reason by means of which they generate chemical reactions in the body. We'll learn the science behind storytelling. But the point is, when you tell a story to someone, your chances of persuasion, the chances of you proving your point, the chances of you putting your view into perspective increases. Because scientifically it has been proven that when we share a good story, we get emotional as well as we generate emotions. And that will help the other person to be more focused, more attentive, to trust you more, and also increases the chance of that person to take a decision in your favor many folds. Stories can help persuade and take decisions in your favor. This brings me to Charis Mantra number 1, which is the more stories in your story bank. So what are story banks? I'll be telling you in one of the next sessions and how do we build. But just imagine that you have a bank in which you store all your stories as a story bank. No rocket science there. The more stories in your story bank, the more money in your money bank, the normal bank that we use. Story bank is directly proportional to your money bank. If you learn the art of storytelling, you can inspire, you can educate, you can persuade, you can motivate more. Stories, according to me, are the new financial instruments. We should learn how to create a story bank, like I said, in one of the upcoming sessions. But remember this Charis Mantra. The more stories in your story bank, the more money in your money bank. Because stories help you to persuade. More persuasion, people trust you more. People trust you more, give you more opportunities. More opportunities means more growth. Right? More growth means more money. It's a cycle. Right? So that brings me to the very important thing. The blank behind stories. What is the blank? Fill in the blanks. Type it in the chat box. The blank behind stories. What does this image depict? What does this image depict? What does the blank depict? What is the one thing that we always study before we go into the techniques and the methods? What is the first thing that we try to reinforce? Kiran says connect. Sharat says motive or goal. Okay. What else? What else? No more guesses. What is this image? Base, foundation? Yes. What is the base or foundation, Deepa? What is the base or foundation of anything that we do? When we learned public speaking, what was the base and foundation of public speaking? What does this image depict? Sridhar says stories. To become an effective public speaker or an effective storyteller, we need two things. One is skills. What is the other thing? One is skills. What is the other thing? Or for that matter, anything that we do in our day-to-day lives, what are the two things that we need? One is skills and the other is, Kinjal says growth, Sridhar says idea, Sitesh says story. Okay. Okay. Good attempt, but I believe you have all forgotten that the first thing we need to strengthen is our mindset. So what are the three mindsets behind learning storytelling? Yeah, Sridhar says good thinker. Yes, again related to mindset. This gentleman in front of you is Mr. Rob Walker. Rob Walker is a journalist and he did a very bizarre study. He bought 200 items from eBay. One of those items was something like this, the head of a horse. And he contacted, so he bought 200 items like this item, and he bought this item at $0.99. Then what he did is he contacted 200 authors. He gave each author one of the items that he had purchased from eBay and asked them to write a story, fictional story around that item. For example, this head of the horse belonged to the Mughal Emperor Akbar, and he used to keep it right beside his throne. For example, fictional story. Okay. After that, so we have 200 items, 200 different stories. Then he again went back on eBay and republished all these items for sale. This time, each item had a fictional story aligned with it. Then he started the bidding process. And do you know, this head of the horse, which he had bought for $0.99, was sold for $62.95. In fact, he bought all the 200 items from eBay at $129. And do you know at what value did he sell all the 200 items? Any guesses? Type it in the chat box. Give me a number. 500, Kinjal says, $500. Deepa says $2,000. Mani says $6,000. Okay. Sitesh says $1,000. Sharat says $10,000. Kiran says $6,000. Very close. Some of you have come very close. He sold it at $8,000. $8,000. What was the difference? What was the difference? Why was there so much of boost in the price? Type it in the chat box. What do you think is the difference this time when he sold it? What made the difference? Type it in the chat box. Mani says stories. Sridhar says stories behind. Story attached. Desirability quotient increased. Desirability quotient increased, Kiran, because there was a story attached. Stories can increase the value of your product. Stories can increase your value. Even if you're sharing a suggestion, thought, idea, and you do that with the passive integration of stories, it will increase the value of your thought, idea, or product. Or maybe even yourself, if you consider yourself as a product and going for an interview, right? That's mindset number one. Let's go to mindset number two. Anybody remember this? I had talked about this documentary when we had spoken about the fear, first man. Can somebody tell me the three reasons why men have dominated the planet and not animals? What did the men do differently compared to the animals? Does anybody remember? Let me test your memories. Three things that humans did differently. We had covered this in one of our previous sessions. Type it in the chat box. Type it in the chat box. Yes, Sharad says fire, innovation. Mani says movement, generate fire. Absolutely. Well done, Sharad. Well done, Mani. Yes, absolutely. So you can see the first image. We were the first to get out of the trees. That was reason number one. So we went out, we started hunting, we started exploring, we started farming. Second reason, we started how to learn how to control fire. We started learning how to control fire, because of which we could, the energy that was expended by other animals to digest the food, because the food was not cooked, it was raw. Because we used to cook the food, it used to digest easily and we could expend our energies in more productive stuff. Exactly. And the third reason is we started communication. We started developing languages. When I was a child, my mother told me that you should not tell stories. Don't go and tell all these stories. But the point is, the evolution started way beyond anybody can imagine. 25 million years ago. Stories differentiate us from other animals as it helps us to communicate effectively. Right? So that brings me, this bar or this pipe is your mind's pipe with all your beliefs. Okay. These are all your beliefs. They are fixed. You have developed this over the last 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, whatever it is. Very difficult to change your beliefs. Very difficult. Would you agree with me that it's difficult to change your beliefs? Type yes if you agree with me. That's very difficult. I'm not saying impossible, but very difficult to break your or change your beliefs. Kinjal says yes. Sitish says yes. Sharad says yes. Kiran says yes. Absolutely. This is a photo that was taken in 2009 in US. This was a Hindu temple in Atlanta in Georgia in US. This is just after I had completed my post-graduation, my master's from one of the reputed institutes in US. And I had gone to visit the temple because at that point of time, I'm sure you know that the financial crunch was there. Jobs were very scarce. So I had gone to pray in the temple that I get a job soon. Okay, and now that's a different story, that why I didn't take up the job and why I returned back to India. That's a different story for some other day. But if you can see this picture, this Hindu temple had about 200 steps from the foundation, from the base where I am standing to the top of the temple. Now, at that point of time, I saw that an old man came with two of his relatives who were holding either sides of his hands, and they brought him right up to the steps. There was a Pandit sitting there, and the Pandit or the priest, he told the old man that, you know, this is a very auspicious temple, and those people who take the efforts and climb all the 200 or 300 steps to reach there, though there is also an elevator to carry the people who are handicapped or something. If you take this effort, then your wishes or your aspirations or your desires will come true. This is what the priest told him in a nutshell. So that man who couldn't walk without the support of those two men, what he did is he said, move away. And he started slowly and steadily holding the railing where I was standing, and he started climbing the stairs. And believe you me, that he reached the top. It took him about 40 minutes. And we were sitting there, we were, we wanted peace, we were listening to the aartis and all that. He started, and we saw he climbed to the top by himself in 40 minutes without anybody's support, with both his legs were having some kind of issue, maybe arthritis or something, I don't know. But he climbed the steps that day. So the point is, if that priest would not have attached a story that why that man should climb the steps and not use the elevator to this, probably the beliefs of that man wouldn't have been shaken. But when the priest put in a story or injected a story passively in the conversation that he had, he could bend the beliefs of this old man. And this old man, who couldn't walk without support, climbed 200 stairs by himself and reached the top. Stories can bend your beliefs and can help you in achieving your goals. That brings me to a summary of all the three mindsets. Number one, stories are not instruments of entertainment. They are the new financial instruments. More stories is equal to more money in your bank. Number two, stories differentiate us from the animals. Homo sapiens represent us because Homo sapiens decided to share stories with one another. One thing that differentiates us compared to the other animals is the language that we have, by means of which we can share the stories, so that we can all learn from each other. Experts say that stories differentiate us from the other animals because of our ability to communicate and build relationships. And number three, stories can bend or change your beliefs. All said and done, when you're not sharing stories, we cannot move forward in our personal and professional lives. Now, many of you would have observed that I use a lot of images in my presentation. Haven't you observed that? Type yes if you observed that. That I use a lot of images, and I use images from real life incidents in my presentations. Kiran says yes, Deepa says yes. Two reasons for that. Firstly, pictures speak 1,000 words. So it's easy for me also to explain, and it's easy for you also to grasp. And secondly, what happens is whenever you're sharing stories, and especially if it's a group or bunch of unknown people, many times they start thinking, is this guy trying to fabricate a story? As a storyteller, it is very important for you to use real life images as much as possible to prove or to validate or revalidate the point that you are an authentic person and your stories are real life stories. They are true stories. Let's move forward. Now, let's understand the types of stories. Okay. One day somebody asked me, Siddharth, what do you mean by stories? I told him, stories are nothing but incidents from your life. But there are two types of stories. One is imaginary stories. And many people say imaginary stories, and there is nothing wrong with that. Okay. We heard a lot of imaginary stories when we did the exercise last time. I remember Kiran's air hostess story, and the shark eating dahi. So, I mean, they were really hilarious. And sometimes even the imaginary stories, they seem real, they seem authentic. Why? Because they're very common stories. They're relatable stories. But the second type of stories are real life stories. If you pick real life stories in your life, you will never ever run out of content. And there is a method to capture these stories from the incidents of your day-to-day life and to create your story bank, of course, which we'll learn in one of the subsequent sessions. But more importantly, from that story bank, how to choose the right story at the correct time with the right people at the correct place. We are going to learn that as well. But before that, let's get the foundation, the principles right. So today we are going to go deep into real life stories. And there are 4 types of real life stories. The first type of real life stories. So the 4 types of real life stories are signature stories, event-based stories, observational stories, and restructured stories. Let's go deep into signature stories. What is signature story? Signature story is that single incident in your life that wherever you are today is because of that incident. Your personality, your beliefs, your values are shaped by this one incident. It will take time to find out. 100% it will take time to find out your signature story. But remember, your signature story is your trump card. Mostly your signature stories are from your childhood. The way we behave now is highly influenced by what happened to us when we were kids, when we were children. And I use my signature story to drive the point of how or why I started public speaking, why I started doing public speaking. If you remember this image, where I am in third standard in front of 3,000 students, and the story where I tell about my mom recording me and those multiple voices, we go back home, we get disappointed. And then I work on my public speaking skills. And then I win several accolades in my life. So you saw setup, struggle, success, or setup, struggle, solution. 3S method. I hope all of you remember the 3S method. But this is my signature story. And maybe if I dig deep down, meditate, or think, a little bit more in the past, maybe I might find some other story which might be my signature story. But as of today, this is the story that defines me as to why I started this journey of being a public speaking coach and why I am still a student of public speaking till date. This is my signature story. So you have to find your signature story. That is the only trump card that you have, and you should use it very wisely. Let's move to the second type of stories. The second type of stories are event-based stories. Would you all agree with me that we have many events in our lives? Can some of you type in the chat box, what are the important events that we have in our life? Type it in the chat box. Sridhar says marriage. Yes, that's right. Deepa says graduation. Kinjal says wedding. Absolutely. First salary. Yes. The first thing. Remember that? Yes. Finding jobs, Sitesh says, and first salary. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. All of you are right. First kid, Sridhar says. Absolutely. Absolutely. Your birth, your marriage, your graduation, your first salary, your first job, your first date, when someone in your family took their first breath, when someone in your family took their last breath, maybe you moving into a new house or buying a new house, buying a new car, new job. These are events which are embedded deep in our memory because these events don't happen that too often. Like, I mean, how many times do we get married, right? Or how many times do we die? Or how many times do we take birth? Just happens a couple of times or maybe one time, right? So these are very powerful events. And I want to tell you an event-based story. When I first came to Dubai a couple of years back, I wanted to maximize the savings. That was the objective, right? To come here to maximize the savings. So I used to live in this building called as MAC 214. And as you can see, this building, I used to stay in a one-bedroom apartment at that point of time. I had come alone first, and then eventually I got my family there. As you can see, this building doesn't have any balconies. Okay. So what happened is for almost a year and a half, yes, almost a year and a half, we stayed in this apartment and everything was good. I have some of the best memories of Dubai staying in this apartment because that is when I saw my kid grow up. He was a baby and then he started taking his first steps, so on and so forth. Sorry, I stayed in this apartment for 2.5 years. Yes, sorry, 2.5 years. So 2.5 years, great memories here. So what happened is then COVID hit. And you can see this is the view, exact view from my apartment. So you can see there is this, there is a window which opens only about 20 to 30 degrees. That's it. It doesn't open more than that. And the reason is there was some mishap that happened a couple of years back. So they basically removed all the balconies. And this balcony only opens about 25 to 30 degrees. Then what happened is COVID hit. When COVID hit, all of us were stuck. There was a lockdown in Dubai. All of us were stuck. And then what happened is my wife, she started feeling claustrophobic because we were not allowed to go out anywhere. We did not even have a balcony. And it was like we are just opening the window and we are trying to, take fresh air. It was like she kind of was getting into the mode of being depressed in the house. So what happened is, as soon as this, I saw that this is not going in the right direction, and she's getting depressed, she's not allowed to go out anywhere. I decided that as soon as the lockdown gets over, doesn't matter if the contract of this apartment is done or not, I am going to move into an apartment where I will definitely have a balcony. That was the criteria, where we can go have a cup of tea, get some sunlight, at least have some fresh air, not feel like as if we are in an enclosed space, like in a cage or something. And the happiness of my family was very important. So what I did is, though I did not have at that point of time the budgets to afford this apartment, which is called as Vida Residencies, it was almost 1.5 times my budget. But because the happiness of my family was number one priority, I took up this apartment by paying 1.5 times higher rent than what I used to pay in the previous building. And as you can see, this is the house. This building has balconies. And of course, I've now moved out from that house to a much bigger apartment. But this was a picture that was captured there, where we got back vitamin D. We got back good quality time with each other. That's my wife, Ankita, and that's my son, Shaurya. And we got a beautiful view. You can see the view. We could see the golf course and a beautiful lake in front of us. And basically help my wife to come out of, or not even get into the stage of depression. Right? So this is an example of an event-based story, where we moved out from one apartment and moved into one apartment because the happiness of my family was more important than any kind of money. Right? Moving on. Third types of stories are observational stories. Now, as a storyteller, your mind is so sharp that you're trained to pick up stories from everywhere. You can pick those stories and use it for your benefit. Now, this word observation is a very tricky word. Why? Because one of my friends, he went to a blind institute to give a seminar in India. And it's not that those blind people were not qualified. They were well-qualified blind people. One of the girls there was an engineer, but she was 100% blind. So during the seminar, he asked one question: what is the one word that describes you? And he said, the one word that, to give an example, the one word that describes me is passion. Because whatever I do is purely out of passion. Like he goes and gives free seminars and sessions to handicapped people or specially able people, if I may call them that. So this blind girl who was an engineer, she raised his hand and said, for me, the one word that describes me is an observer. He's like, excuse me, what did you say? She said, observer. So then he realized that your eyes have nothing to do with observation. You have to observe from your mind. That is the point. We all see the same visuals, but we all have a different interpretation of those visuals and we process it differently. Now, for example, I have this image in front of me. This is an observational story. Okay. Actually, I was trying to write an article of how we find shortcuts in our life. I was trying to post it on social media. I was trying to find a relevant image. And this is the image that I came across. This is some airport somewhere. And what do you see here? Type it in the chat box. What is your observation from this story or from this image? Type it in the chat box. Type it in the chat box. What is your observation from this image? No observation? People crowding up in the escalators, Mani says. Hard choices are sometimes best, Deepa says. Okay, great, great. Any other guesses? The elevator stopped working and people to take the steps. Okay. Sharat says. You're all right in your observations. But in fact, Sharad, the escalator was actually working at this point of time. But the problem is people are too lazy. People always try to find shortcuts. And you can see only one person was taking the stairs. Only one person wanted to take the efforts. Only one person wanted to do the hard work. Rest everybody was willing to wait till everybody else reaches on top. And they were not willing to take the efforts. Now, this is an observational story. Like that, every day you observe so many things that can be converted into a story capsule, into a story model. And then you can use these stories, like I use this story to drive a point at how people take shortcuts. Yes, there's a huge crowd, absolutely. And then the fourth kind of story is restructured stories. Now, these restructured stories, you need a little bit of creativity. Restructured stories are a combination of 4 to 5 incidents that have happened in your life, and then you combine those 4 to 5 incidents and then you present a story. So you take some incident from your childhood, from your college days, some from your adulthood, some from your present day, combine all of that and then prepare a restructured stories. Now, we learn an example of restructured story, but whenever you have a restructured story, you will never be out of content. Okay. And restructured stories are must for you to master if you want to become a professional speaker, if you want to become a keynote speaker, where you have to speak for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours. So you can use the other 3 types of stories in short conversations or in short presentations, in short speeches. But if someone is inviting you for a 90-minute talk, you should pick multiple stories from your story bank, collect those stories, and then prepare a restructured story. But the only condition is all those 4 or 5 stories must drive the same point, the same message. It should not be that one story is taking you to Timbuktu and one story is taking you to London. They should have a common destination. So for example, if for those of you who have attended my webinar, you'll remember that I used the story of my father-in-law being admitted in a very pathetic hospital with a very pathetic situation, the photo on the left, and then how we struggled to get him the remdesivir injection, where we paid 400, 500 times extra money to get in that injection. And then even we were not sure whether he will get that injection. So we asked the doctor to click a photo when he is holding this injection in his hands. This was one story that I used. But how can I make it a restructured story? When I combine it with other stories, other anecdotes, other examples, and I combine this, when I was telling you all that COVID is not the bigger problem, the bigger problem is mediocrity. The bigger problem is mediocrity. Where we have this donkey whose name is put your head down and work, is his master, and the donkey's name is mediocre. And on the right hand side, you see Courage the lion. And then how I showed you that this is the bigger challenge or the bigger problem than even COVID, mediocrity. We are not able to overcome mediocrity. We are not able to be the courageous lions or lionesses and speak up. You see how all the stories, the anecdotes, the examples, they are all connected. You see that? Type yes if you see that. Type yes if you see that. Angel says yes. Deepa says yes. Sharad says yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you should decide the theme of your talk and then pick stories accordingly. Your signature story is all of you have bank accounts? All of you have bank accounts? Type yes if you have a bank account. Sharad says yes. Mani says yes. Deepa says yes. We spoke about 4 types of stories, correct? Yes, all of us have bank accounts, absolutely. Your signature story, your trump card is your premium bank account. Now, I want you to draw the analogy between your story bank and your money bank. Okay. Your signature story is your premium bank account. Your events-based story is your savings account. You have different events in your life, in your past, you keep adding them into your savings. Observed stories, which is ongoing, you're observing even now, you're observing even your day-to-day lives, is your current bank account. And restructured stories is a combination of all these three accounts: premium account, savings account, and current account. You can cook up a restructured story only when you have all these three accounts in your story bank. So I'm saying once again, for those of you who intend to do workshops, or for those of you who are doing webinars or seminars, which is all about two things: skills and mindset. If you will do any workshop, then you have to pick stories from your story bank and inject it into your presentation to make your presentation more interactive, more connectable, to drive more emotions, and then people will listen to you actively in a focused manner. Is that clear? Is that clear? Give me a yes. Okay. Now, I want somebody to come up on the screen and share with me what they have learned today. Who would that be? Please raise your hands. Raise your hands. Sridhar. Sridhar, let me put you in spotlight. Yes, Sridhar. How are you, Sridhar?
I'm fine.
Perfect.
I'm fine. Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Super. So, Sridhar,
Yeah.
tell me, what all did you learn? What are the key takeaways from today's session?
A lot of things, a lot of information shared in today's session, especially why we have to share our these things in a story way. It was really very informative. So, 2 points that was covered in that, like base telling our information through a story format that hooks the audience. That's one of the main point that you shared. And second one was stories have power to impact, to take decisions. That's a very key learning, I would say. And we have also got learned so many things, especially types of stories that we have. There are 4 types of stories that we have learned today. And we could also relate that with our every type of stories that we have. It is related to the bank account. How is our signature story is actually related to the premium account, the example that you gave. It's all new, and it's a good learning, I would say that.
Great. Great sharing. Great sharing. Good job, Sridhar. Who else? Who else would like to share their learnings? Raise their hands. Who else would like to share their learnings? Let me see. Let me see. We are here to do public speaking and nobody's raising their hands. Come on. I know your hearts are pounding because there's a competition which is upcoming. I know that that's going on in your mind, but it's okay. Come on. This is a family which is not going to judge you. Who's going to share their learnings? Who is going to share their learnings?
I can probably try.
Yes. Yes, Deepa. Let me just
Okay,
get
so
light.
right. So you said that when we are narrating a story, try not to explicitly say that we're going to narrate a story and just start with it. You also mentioned to make sure that the 3 S's are followed. You took over and explained there are 4 types of stories, and the Karis mantra to always remember is more stories in your story bank, the more money in your money bank. And to be always observant and focused around you so that you grasp more stories And so this is my understanding of what happened in the last almost 1 hour.
Beautiful. Well shared, Deepika. Well shared. And absolutely. So stories are everywhere. And like I said, if you want to be a more effective public speaker, you have to be a more effective storyteller. Why? Is because I did tell some of you that when we are fearful, our subconscious mind activates. When we are nervous, when we are excited, also our subconscious mind activates. Correct? Now, your subconscious mind is where all your emotions are processed. And when I speak or when I talk about a story to all of you, I'm speaking from my heart. It's triggering some emotions inside of me. It's reaching to you and it's triggering some emotions inside of you, which means it's activating your subconscious brain, and which means you're more alert, you're more open, you're more focused to listen to me. Right? It's a connection between two subconscious minds. Right? Who else? Who else would like to share their learnings? Hi, Sushant. Good to see you. Who else? Who else? Should I pick up names? Should I call out names? Sitesh. Sitesh. What are your learnings for the day?
Uh, the first learning which you have said about the story on your story bank, there would be the more money on your money bank. That means it's all about the stories, how we explain our stories and how we uh, uh, to become great public speaker, a good public speaker. You have to learn to how to tell your stories. And you said about the kind of stories, different type of stories. That means they restructured. You said about the restructured and signature stories. You said about there are 4 types of stories. You said so. I believe कि if you want to learn, if you want to become a master in public speaking, then you have to learn the skill of storytelling. So this is the importance of storytelling, which I have learned in last 1 hour, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Siddesh, can you tell me something? When I was giving some live examples, I was sharing some live stories. Was it triggering a few emotions inside of you when I was talking to
Yes,
you
yes,
about stories? What
yes,
emotions was it?
definitely.
What did you
Uh,
feel when?
Of course, when you shared about your story in Dubai, when you said the story about your apartment, then I feel that that means the way which by which you are saying, you are telling your story, that was very powerful and effective, and it feels like some kind of uh, the you can say that the values, the way you are telling that about your apartment stories about something, the telling the uh, uh, we can say the emotion is about uh, your values. That means you said that the happiness of your family is most important than anything. Your budget is not allowing that at that particular time, but still you take a decision, and you take decision and change your apartment. So I believe that that emotion is about the your believing in your values, which you tells about you with your stories.
Absolutely, Siddesh. Absolutely. It's all about values, it's all about emotions, and the best way I could drive that is through an event-based story. Right? So great going, Sitesh. So are you all ready for the championship? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Superb, superb, superb. All right, let me allow the special guest for the day. Let me just allow, and just a second. So there we go. Dr. Kishore, are you there with us over here?
Hello.
Dr. Kishore, can you
Hi,
hear me?
everyone.
Dr. Kishore, can you just put your screen slightly down so that we can see you?
Yes.
How are you,
Okay.
Dr. Kishore?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
All good, Dr. Kishore. Firstly, everybody, please give a big round of applause for Dr. Kishore.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Kishore, let me quickly introduce you first.
Yes.
Just give me a second. So please welcome Dr. Kishore Gaur. Dr. Kishore Gaur has been in marketing and sales for more than 4 decades, has worked as a C-level executive in renowned multinational companies both in India and the Middle East. He has traveled to more than 70 countries spanning over 5 continents. And he has been awarded 3 PhDs, not 1, not 2, but 3 PhDs by reputed organizations around the world. And yes, Dr. Kishore is also my first mentor because he is my father. So big round of applause for Dr. Kishore.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I thank you so much for, giving this honors. If I may take over the baton and talk to you guys.
Sure, Dr. Kishore.
Okay. So anyway, welcome you all. And I'm very happy, to see all these youngsters trying to having those aspirations to grow and to really get into a different league. So I'm really very happy. First of all, congratulations all of you that, you have taken up all the initiatives to get into these classes and get going, So that's amazing. One has to learn from somewhere. We have to start somewhere. So it's am I audible?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. All right. So good. Very happy to see you. See, basically, yeah, I mean, when you talk about speaking very flawlessly, so it's not an easy task. You have to need to acquire the skills. For the most important thing in this is how to connect with people. If you're not able to connect with people, so there's nothing, no one can understand you. So your speech has to be flawless, your body language, your tone, your diction, how you actually put it across. So this is important that you have a very good vocabulary so the flow of speech comes very flawlessly and people are able to understand you, what you want to say, what you want to communicate. Communication is the most important skills in international business, and I've been actually doing this for many, many years now, more than 4 decades. So because, from different parts, you have to deal with different parts, people are from the different parts of the world. And, not many people can understand English so well. If you go to Latin America, particularly, people only speak Spanish. So you have to be, you need to know how exactly you need to talk to connect with them. So I'm amazed that, you guys are really picking up. This is a very important skill set. If you can acquire the skill set, I think nothing like it. Okay. So most importantly, the attitude, the body language, how you actually present it, what are the, what are the contents of your speech, how you present it, what all things that you, what you intend to communicate to the people, that's most important. And if you're not able to communicate, you're not able to connect with the people, then your whole speech actually is of no use. All right. So most importantly, you should strive hard to really get into the groove and connect with people, talk to them. So this needs a lot of practice. It doesn't come, all of a sudden. Nothing is going to fall on your lap, all of a sudden. Most important, you need to acquire the skills. You need to really practice in front of the mirror, stand there and, you can give your speech and try and understand how the flow is going on. Okay. So I understand because a lot of people have the stage fear. So they try and, they keep stammering. So they're not able to communicate. There's a loss of memory. They completely become blank. So many cases I've seen. So keep your mind cool. Don't take stress. Entire thing is in your mind, that confidence, that positiveness you need to have. Be determined and you're going to do it. So my best wishes are with all of you. And let's see how the competition goes. Over to you, Siddharth.
Big round of applause for Dr. Kishore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore, for those words of wisdom, those knowledge nuggets from your vast experience. You have been sharing it with us and appreciate you taking out time from your busy schedule. So, Dr. Kishore, there are basically 4 parameters on which we'll be judging the
Yes.
amazing participants that we have. The first will be the soft skills score, which would be on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. Soft skills is nothing but the language, the flow of speech, and the rate of speech. Number 2 would be their non-verbal skill score, which will be their body language, their gestures, their facial expressions. Number 3 would be the content score, the content quality and brevity. If they can express the message in a shorter time, that is the most amazing thing that they can do. And the 4th would be the presentation skills, the delivery part, right? So I would request all you to judge everybody from a scale from 1 to 10. Sure. And everybody will get 3 minutes. So what they have done is they have prepared on a particular prop, and they will come one by one. You can call out the names. They'll come one by one. We'll start the timer. They'll start speaking, and then you can accordingly score them. And then once we are done with all the participants, we can declare the winner. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. So are we good to start, Dr. Kishore?
Sorry, come again.
Are we good to start?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So Dr. Kishore, who would you like to invite first?
I think starting from left hand, because we are not Arabic people, so we don't start from right to left. Let's start from left to right. So I think Sitesh can take the charge.
Sure.
Over to you, Sitesh.
Sitesh, let me put you on spotlight. Just a second. Spotlight for everyone. Sitesh, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up when you're ready.
Definitely, sir. I'm ready. Thank you so much, Dr. Kishore. Thank you so much, sir.
And your time starts now.
As per the assignment given by sir, we have to prepare a speech on any particular prop. So my prop is mobile phone.
Okay.
Just imagine for a moment a life without mobile phone, or a life without invention of mobile phone. We could not talk to our relatives, our family in other states or countries. Friends, this is the information journey. By a simple click, we can connect, we can collect, we can consume, we can absorb any kind of information and knowledge, which would not be possible without the use or invention of mobile phone. We can learn infinite number of skills and explore it to the world, which would not be possible without the inventor or user of the mobile phone. Friends, let's talk about the some brief history of the mobile phone. Mobile phones were invented as early as 1940s by effortless working of some best engineers in AT&T lab in US. Mobile phone were not like that, which seems to like now. It was like something radio kind of things in earlier, which can be used only for the taxi or some social places. It has been a continuous upgradation on mobile, and we can refer now as the mobile as a 0 generation to first generation to second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and now we are going for the 5th generation. So finally, we can say that everything in nature has some pros and cons. If mobile has some pros, then cons also. If it connect people in one way, then it also disconnect people in another way. If it provide all the information, all the knowledge in one way, then it also waste our time in our way, other way. It all depends on how we are using our resources, how we are correctly using the resources, the device. This is all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sitesh. Great job. Great job. So, Dr. Kishore, if you would like, you're on mute, Dr. Kishore. Let me unmute you. Yes, Dr. Kishore, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I have just one question for you, Mr. Sitesh. You have told me about the pros, and also some of the cons of mobile. But what do you think? Without a mobile, things will not work?
Yes, definitely it will work. But I believe that the connectivity of the person and the information which we are getting now, you can say that this is the COVID era, and just imagine that if there is a no internet connection and there is no smart mobile phones, the thing is that in the pandemic season, in the pandemic era, we are only depending on the mobile phones and smartphone, because this is the only way where we can get all the information. Our kids are getting all the studies with the mobile. So we are preparing, or we are very in safe mode due to the this particular device, we can say that. For if we I can say in this COVID era, especially in this COVID era, we can say that we getting the information, our children, our kids are getting the knowledge and skill only with the mobile phones. Without it, it cannot be
May I
possible.
ask you one more thing? What are the
Yes.
negatives of the mobile?
Negative is that the use, how we are going to use it. If we are not using it wisely or correctly, then we can say that it is not, it would be very dangerous for us also.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Good.
Thank you, Sitesh. Thank you so much, Sitesh. Great job. Dr. Kishore, you can probably take a note of the scores for him.
Yes.
And till that time, who else can we get?
Well, I think ladies first. So Deepa can take the chance. So she can on.
Superb, superb. So all of you, be confident, be relaxed. We have done this. You know all the techniques and the methods, but this is how it actually feels when you participate in world-class competitions. I want you all to get this feeling. Are you all getting this feeling? Are you getting the feeling? Give me a thumbs up. This is how the world-class people feel when they are speaking. All right, Deepa, all the very best. Deepa, let me put you on the spotlight and let me just, all right, Deepa. Having said that, are you ready, Deepa?
Yes.
Okay, when you have 30 seconds left, I will just softly say 30 seconds. All right?
Sure.
You have 3 minutes.
Deepa, all the best.
Thank you.
And your time starts.
Are you nervous?
When you use the word nervous, it is, yes, it is registering and it is getting nervous.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Don't worry.
Okay. We'll restart the timer. No worries. All right.
Okay.
Your time starts. 3, 2, 1, now.
I remember loosely through my mother's narrative. When I was a kid, around 3 years of age, one fine morning when I woke up, she took me for a bath, wore me this beautiful dress, draped my hair, put on the flowers and bangles. I knew something special was happening that day. There was festive food and decorations all around the house. I was excited. After a while, my mother called me, made me sit on her lap, took my tiny hands, and wrote the first words on a tray of grains. Yes, it was Vidyarambam. That marked my entry into the world of writing, or more so, the world of knowledge. Later, she placed the mighty sword in my hand and blessed me into a journey of acquiring and sharing knowledge, which still, thankfully, I continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you. Okay, let me ask you this. How many of us, through a show of hands, can tell me that in spite of having an email or a WhatsApp or a notepad, we still reach out for that pen? Absolutely. Right. So, right from jotting down the notes to writing down a beautiful card for a friend to probably even filling out a bank form, we all need this friend of ours. Pen is also the foundation of expression, of emotions. Some write beautifully, some draw beautifully, and some express through poetry. All of the religious scriptures that we have right now are available because somebody could document them. History was curated. All the peace treaties, the independence declaration was happened because of this tiny thing. But beyond all of that, the pen is also giving us a voice to express our inner thoughts. Like Malala Yousaf said, give a child a book and a pen, and the world can change. However, in recent times, we do see modern technology dramatically changing the concept of writing.
30
Writing
seconds.
is no longer encouraged in schools. Pens and pencils are replaced by touchscreen and more so over with the stylus. So the next time you want to gift a child something, think about gifting a pen. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kishore, you're on mute. Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you unmute yourself, Dr. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, very well said, Deepa. So you wanted to say that the pen is mightier than the sword.
Absolutely.
Good. All right.
Well done, Deepa.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Well done.
Thank you.
Superb. Dr. Kishore, who can we have next?
Yes, I can see Mr. Manikandan.
Okay, let me just get Mr. Manikandan. So Mani.
Hello, Mr. Manikandan. How are you?
I'm good, Dr. Kishore.
You're good?
How are you? I'm good.
Thank you so
good,
much.
sir.
Good. Where are you from?
I'm in Kerala.
In Kerala. Which part of Kerala?
Yeah. To the southern part, which is, you're familiar with the places?
No. Tell me the name of the city.
Okay, it's called Palakkad.
Palakkad.
Yeah.
Palakkad. Yeah, I know Palakkad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my native place. I'm here.
Good. Good. What do you do?
Good to know.
What do you do?
I am a coach, basically, by profession. I've been in the corporate world for about 2 decades. And
Coach for what?
On
You're a football
emotional
coach?
well-being. For emotional well-being.
For emotional
well-being.
well-being.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I help people with, basically, who go through relationships, wherever they're having tough times. So I help them basically sail through, and so that they can live a meaningful and fulfilled life. That's what I help them with.
Good. All the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best, Mani. So whenever you're ready, just show me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay. All the very best, Mani. And 3, 2, 1, your time starts now.
So I remember my college days when I used to be always late going to the college. Initially, I did not realize that. But as time flew by, my friends who used to wait for me every day in the bus stop kept on asking me, why are you late today? And it used to be just casual because it was not a big deal. Though we used to reach the class a little late for the college, but we still managed to sneak through. Time flew by and I entered into the corporate world. There, my habit continued. And initially, it was not a big issue because it was my first job. But as time went by, this was a regular issue that was spoken to me even in my one-on-one and my appraisals by my manager. He used to say, why can't you be on time? And I just never knew the reason. I used to say that, yeah, I just woke up, I just got ready, and I'm there in the office. I don't know why it's getting late. A little deep dive into the problem, and then I was told by my supervisor that probably I think you should wake up a little bit early. Looks like your routine is like, if you have to reach the office at 9, you wake up only by 8. Try to wake up a little early so that you get time to prepare yourself and you reach the office on time. To which I agreed, but the habit didn't go away so easily because it was carried on from my childhood. So it took some time, and despite multiple warnings, I did not know what to do. So one fine day, I was discussing about this with my parents. We were sitting over a cup of tea, and I told my dad, it's been a problem. During my days, I didn't knew, but these days, my manager and I have been reported that I should wake up early, I should be on office on time. And I have been trying everything that I can. I have told you multiple times to wake me up, to which I still remember my father used to wake me up in the morning whenever I say, be it 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. But still, I used to go back to sleep after that. And I wake up at 8 o'clock, rush fast, and reach the office, which obviously turned out to be late. So then, my father gifted me the most amazing piece of instrument that I've ever known. I knew it existed in the world, but I did not know that it could change my life. It could change my habit. And that's the alarm clock. So this had a huge impact on my life. Initially, it was a problem because though the alarm clock, I used to keep the time, it used to ring, I still used to put it on snooze and sleep off. But then slowly I started understanding the value of it. My father, who is the brainchild behind this, kept on increasing the volume of the alarm clock. So what happened finally was, it used to be so annoying and so disturbing that I had to get up off my bed to go ahead and stop it. And slowly, yeah, that habit of mine got out. And today I'm happily waking up well ahead of time whenever I want, even without this beautiful instrument called alarm clock. Thank you.
Good. So I agree, punctuality is most important.
Yeah.
All right. Good. So
Great job. Great
after
job.
Manikandan?
Yes, after Manikandan, who can we get?
Is it Kinjal?
Kinjal. Okay.
Okay, I think Kinjal can come on. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, Kinjal. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good to see you.
Same here.
Good. So what's the prop you have to do?
Sorry?
The prop, has he given you the prop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kinjal, whenever you are ready, give me a thumbs up. I'll start your time. All right. All the best, Kinjal.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
3, 2, 1, and your time starts now.
Imagine for a moment our life without television. What people will do without the television. Television is a very popular mode of entertainment today. In most of the homes, we find the family members stuck on it. Even in India, television stands as the cheapest mode of wholesome entertainment. It provides the viewer with wide selection of channels and program with the help of the cable network now readily available this time. But do you guys remember those days, our childhood days, when we were eagerly waiting for our favorite programs? Those days are really memorable, isn't it? Only one channel was there, DD National, and still we enjoyed it a lot. We all family members sitting together and watch all the programs. But nowadays, television is a good source of advertising for companies who want to promote their products. Day-to-day happening and daily news is readily available at regular intervals on various channels. Review on various national events and live telecast of sports event are also available on television. Even students can watch entertainment programs rather than informative ones like Discovery Kids, National Geography, like many channels are there. Yeah, that's it for the day. Thank you.
Good. So what's your most liking program on the television?
Nowadays or childhood days?
Okay.
Are you asking me about nowadays or my childhood time?
No, right now.
Right now, I'm watching just some comedy serials or some reality dance program because I love to dance. So I follow some dance programs on different channels.
Very good.
But in childhood, yes, the Jungle Book was my favorite program. I remember on Sundays, I woke up by 7 because I wanted to see the Jungle Book.
Okay, great. Good. Very good, Kinjal.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Great. Thank you. So, who next, Dr. Kishore?
Yeah, who's it? Kiran.
Kiran. Okay.
Kiran GV.
Kiran, how are you, Kiran? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Very good evening. Very good evening to you,
Good evening,
Kishore,
Kiran.
sir.
How are you?
Doing good, sir. How about you?
Okay. Good to see you. Fine, thank you.
Superb, Kiran. So are you ready, Kiran?
Uh, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Take your time. Take a deep breath. Remember all the techniques, methods that we have learned, and just go for it. All right. 3, 2, 1, and your time starts now.
Thank you, Siddharth, sir, for introducing me in today's session. And the assignments. Right? So that was the starting point, and I remember the anxiety and the panic attack I had for the first time when Siddharth, sir, actually asked us to technically shoot a video and submit our assignments. And there were a lot of things that were running in my mind, and the very first one were the technical aspects of it. That is the camera. What kind of a camera will I be using? What kind of a editing suite will I be using? And how will the audio be recorded? And just about a little story about me is that, like, I had thrown away all my videography equipment almost 8-9 years ago. The day I decided, I'm moving out of the filming industry. So since then, I had never touched the camera or the editing suite. I had formatted my system, and yes, this actually was a technical challenge for me. And my whole point was, how exactly will I go about? And I may share the screen. Has my screen come up?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
This is how I actually shot my very first video of burning away our fears. So technically, I had no tripod, nothing, and I had to stack up the old cell phone boxes, and that's one of my exercising method. And as a counterweight, I had used the stones. Yes, since then, I thought I'm lacking an equipment wherein I'll be able to produce a stable video. And that's when I came across the tripod. So immediately I was looking through the internet, and I bought up two different equipments. So one is that's coming up on the screen, and that's how I've technically fixed up if you can see through the video. And the other one is the one what I bought. So yes, and I now am technically equipped.
30 seconds.
And why is this so important to me? So when sir actually posed this challenge, somewhere I really felt this is a gateway, or this is a window for me to go back to my previous passion. And yes, I love filming. At the same time, I also love editing. So with my with the tripods on, hopefully I wouldn't be missing any assignment deadlines. That's it. So yes, with this I would want to conclude. This is the best angle what I've got.
All right.
Good. Great. Kiran, good. Thank you so much.
Great job, Kiran. Great job.
Good job. Very well spoken. Who's the next one? Yes.
Dr. Kishore, you can advise.
Mr. Sushant Kumar. Good.
Sushant. All right. Can I just have
Hello.
Sushant in the spotlight? Yes.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for putting me in spotlight. Hello, Dr. Kishore.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah. So I'm ready.
You're ready? All right.
Yeah.
Superb. So your time starts. All the very best, Sushant. 3, 2, 1 now.
I remember 18th June of 2008 when I got my first offer letter in an IT company. And that gave me a tremendous joy because it was my first job. And in an IT company, it happened because for last 6 months, I had been toiling hard to learn the skill Java programming language. And this language had given me the opportunity to land in that my first job. Now, after landing into the job, when I was working in the job, I had given a project where I needed to practice something in my home, and I didn't had a laptop in my home. So what to do? I started thinking, how do I get my laptop, because I don't have that that much amount of money initially. I just joined, so I didn't have that money, and I had to think through. So I thought, why not ask my father to give me some money, help me out on this situation? So I asked my father, and he agreed to give me the initial amounts, and then I added with my salary, and I bought my first laptop, the Dell computer Vostro 1510, which I have been using for last 14 years. And that is a very unique thing and a special device that I always love. I'm still using it. I'm not talking to you on this computer, on that laptop, but the other laptop and I work, that I have been using. So that is a very special laptop for me. Nowadays, we all are getting connected in this pandemic situations. This device has become useful for each and every people instead of only software engineers. So that laptop I needed badly, because you can imagine a situation if a bus driver has to practice without a bus. Well, it cannot happen, right? The same was the situation with me, that a software engineer cannot practice anything without a laptop.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so that was the thing, and I really love that my first laptop. So before I leave the stage, I want you to give this to think that you can use your laptop to play games or watch movies and do unproductive things, or you can become productive and use your laptop in a productive way so that you can become a millionaire or billionaire. Thank you very much.
Good, Sushant. Very well spoken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sushant. Well done. Who is next? Dr. Kishore, who can we get next?
I think Mr. Sharad Kumar.
Yes. Let me just add Mr. Sharad to the spotlight. Yes.
Hi, good evening, doctor.
Are you able to hear us, Dr. Kishore?
Yes.
Sharad just
Yeah,
greeted.
Mr. Sharad,
Yeah,
how
hi,
are you?
good evening, Dr. Kishore. I'm
Good
very
evening.
good.
How
Thank
are
you so
you?
much.
Good. What do you do?
I work for a telecom company.
Okay. Where are you from?
I'm actually from Delhi, but based out of Dubai.
Oh, you're in Dubai. Okay. So you're not telecom contracting company.
Yes, so some kind of A2P SMS business, which is messaging. So any transactional or promotional message we receive on our mobile device. So we are kind of big wholesalers.
All right. Good. So let's hear from you today.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. So Sharad, all the very best.
All the
Whenever
best
you're
to you,
ready,
Sharad.
give me a thumbs up and we will be ready to go. All right. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, now.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember during my, sorry, shall I start?
Yes, you can restart. No issues.
Hello.
Yeah, you can restart, Sharad. We can hear you.
But someone else is speaking. It was not me.
So are you ready? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Sure, Sharad. So we can restart it in 3, 2, 1, go.
I remember during my childhood school days, I was very poor in studies. I got blank. Can I restart again?
Continue. No issues. It's okay. Continue.
All right. I remember during my childhood school days, I was very poor in studies, backbencher, and had no interest in reading books. My father used to chase me hard to study and read books, but I used to always find excuses to skip reading books. My father had a firm belief that I will fail in my examination. And in fact, he was so confident that I will not be able to clear my grade 12. And because of his confidence, I actually started believing that I am very poor in studies and I cannot score. Somehow, I managed to clear my grade 12 with average marks. Then luck also favored me. I managed to get admission in an engineering college, God knows how. As per my father's belief, my miseries in engineering college continued. I flunked in 4 subjects in my first term in my first engineering college. My miseries further continued, and I further again in term 2 failed in 5 subjects. I was demotivated, sad, and I knew that my father will come very hard on me and might be, he might kick me out from the college. To my surprise, my father came to me as a friendly note and he mentioned to me that limits exist only in your mind. There are no reason that why you should not pass with flying colors. He mentioned to me that if you want to be successful, there are no shortcuts. You have to work hard. Then the books became my friend. I really worked hard. I burned midnight oil and I made sure that I cleared all my backlog examinations and I also cleared my term 3 6 examination. In fact, I created a record by clearing 15 exams in single shot in my college, which has never happened or never done by any other student. At that point of time, I realized books are your true friend. It helps you grow. It gives you knowledge. It helps you build your confidence. It gives you wings to think big, dream big, and even helps you to be successful. I'm sure there's one thing common between all of us. We all want to be successful. My dear friends, the secret is revealed. Books and hard work can take you to distance. It has worked for me, and I'm sure it might work for you all. Thank you very much.
Dr. Kishore, you're on mute.
Just one question, Mr. Sharad. What was your favorite subject in engineering?
It was engineering drawing because I was really pathetic on that. So I really, really slogged hard and somehow managed to pass it.
With the drafter?
Yeah, with the drafter. So people used to make maybe 10 drawings in a year. I used to make 10 drawings in a week. So that kind of hard work put in.
You are lucky at least you had the drafter. We used to do it with a T-square.
Yeah.
Those days. There was no drafter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So who's the next one?
Wonderful, Sharad.
Yeah.
Great going.
I think
Sridhar, yes.
Sridhar?
Yes.
MK. Okay.
Hi, let me just get Sridhar. Yes. Sridhar, you are there on the spotlight. Dr. Kishore, you would like to say
Hello,
something?
Sridhar. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Fine. Thank you, Sridhar. Good. So how was the day today?
Good.
You practiced a lot this morning?
It was actually a bit. Yeah, I've straight away come to that stage.
Okay.
Superb. So, Dr. Kishore, with your permission, can he start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sridhar, all the very best. Your 3 minutes start now.
Yeah, I still remember my childhood days where I used to go every place by walk. I'm sure it would have happened with many of us that we used to go by walk, and it happened for us to get a bicycle. My brother who helped me getting that, I was very afraid of that because I was not having a confidence will I be able to do that. But thank God, my brother boosted me, that supported me morally that I can do that. And I, I could learn that in one day, and then I started, riding that bicycle on my 7th standard. I still remember that day because I was not at all confident. Because of my brother, it happened like a miracle. I learned that in one day. And from then, I remember wherever I go, I prefer to go by my cycle. And I've used my cycle to an extent that, I've gone up to 50, 60 kilometers during my school days without telling my mom and my brother that, because I like riding that, bicycle, especially with my friends during the holidays. I will I will tell my mom something, and then I will, escape to do that because I love enjoying it. I have been thinking about that. When will a day come? When I will get into a next level, or where I can also buy a car and do it. To be honest, it was never there in my mind. I will be able to make it. Fortunately, it happened. you know Around a decade back, a day came where I could buy a car, you know and it gave me a life that could, turn, or you can say that boosted up, added up more oil to my passion, because I love driving. I started learning, driving, and I could explore my, all the wishes that I had in my mind. Wherever I could go, I utilized that opportunity because I had that car. I still have that car. So thanks to technology and the invention that has helped me to, fulfill
30
my
seconds.
dream. So that's it.
You're done, Sridhar?
Yes, I am done.
Okay, okay. Great going. Dr. Kishore, you have to unmute yourself. I'm sorry, we can't hear you. Let me unmute you.
Have we done with everyone?
Yes, we are done. Sridhar was the last participant, Dr. Kishore.
Right.
So great going, Sridhar. So let me just get everybody on the screen. Okay. So Dr. Kishore, we are done with all the participants. If you need a minute or two to just kind of get across with the results, it'll be great.
Sure.
And also, if you would like to speak a few words of wisdom, before we wind up this competition.
Well, actually, all of you have spoken very well. It's a tough job for us actually to decide who's going to be the winner. But you should, even if you're a loser, you shouldn't lose your heart. You should always strive hard to actually attend, because always, people who are unsuccessful, I've seen they have reached dizzy heights. Many examples I've got. So it's nothing lost. It's just it's a good practice. So how things work out. That is how you need to practice. All right. So don't lose heart if you're not one. But I'm sure that all of you have really done very well. We are very happy. Giving a speech extempo is a very difficult task. But I think all of you have done an amazingly good job. Thank you.
Actually, Dr. Kishore, this was prepared. They were asked to prepare and come for this speech.
Okay, so you're given the props to them. All right. Yeah.
No, they selected the prop by themselves. I'm sorry, I did not tell you. They selected the prop by themselves and they had to come prepared. It was not extempo.
Okay. All right. So you're giving them the props. Okay. Lucky guys. Okay. So I think we need to talk, Siddharth, before we. Yeah.
Sure. So till the time the results are coming out, I would like one or two of you to come and share your experience here. Sushant, you're smiling. Can I have Sushant on the screen, please? Dr. Kishore, we can communicate and we can have the winner. All right.
Siddharth's screen is frozen.
Siddharth, is it?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Is it?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. That you got.
Yeah. So Sushant, till the time we get across the winners, I would like to know your thoughts. How did you feel? This is the actual intense level of competition that is out there. You're trying to or replicate the same feel. How did you feel? What is going on? Is your heart racing?
It was racing initially when everyone started, and after everyone did and my name was called, it really, my heart was pounding. But somehow I controlled that. I thought that let me be excited more than be fearful. So I was more excited, and I went into that excited mode. I remember that you said that excitation and fear had both the same thought process when in your subconscious mind. So I tried to tap that particular thing so that I was excited throughout the session. I don't have that fear and I don't blank out in the process. I had practice, but it's eventually happens. Sometimes it happens, you go blank out even after practice. So that was really great experience to be in. Thank you for giving the opportunity. And I also thank all the participants to be so much sporty and all prepared came. That was a great to see all of them and the different thought process everyone has. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Good, Sushant Kumar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Who else would like to say something? Kiran?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How has been your experience? Let me ask you this way. How has been your experience?
It's been very good. It's been very good. And initially, that there were butterfly in my stomach. And the moment you called up Kinjal, I thought I was the one who was about to speak.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was ready then. And yes, yes, this has been a very fantastic experience. And also, I've chosen my very favorite property. So yes, sir. Yeah. I'm I'm a student. I believe I've always been a student in here as well. I'm here to take up a lot of input from everyone. And I also, after speaking, I felt there was no eye contact. So that is why, I had to practice a lot. So this is the second time, I myself have thought, that there was no eye contact with my audience. So yes, I'm conscious now. I'll make that conscious effort. And yes, I'm open for all the feedback, sir, from you as well as from Siddharth, sir, as well as from my team members.
Let me ask Manikandan with the alarm clock.
Yes, sir. My experience. Okay. The moment you called out my name, the heartbeat went dum 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 dum. But yes, I wanted to overcome. So the basic reason why I'm here is also the main reason that I have this stage fear. When I knew that there are 100 people sitting in front of me and I have to address them, when I got those occasions,
yes,
I would go blank. And exactly, I got that kind of pressure when you just called out my name and I had to come out and talk, despite being prepared that what I want to talk. So I think the practice helped me a lot, and I could do my best. What I thought, still it's not perfect, but whatever I could do, I tried my best. But I'm sure the other participants who are here did much better job, and they should be congratulated all the way for taking time and preparing, and they delivered their best too. So along with me, congrats to all my team members as well.
Good, Manikandan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything Kinjal would like to say?
Yeah, I was also in same boat. When you called ladies first, I think it's me. And actually, not prepared. Actually, I write down yesterday only, but didn't memorize anything. And when I speaking, I lost some lines, some words. I know that, but it's okay. It was. I'm trying to coming out of my fear, but hope it will be. I'll achieve it soon with help of Siddharth, sir.
Very good. So you're trying to evolve yourself.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where's Deepa? She's not to be seen. Where is she?
I'm still around, sir.
Deepa, I can't see you. Yeah. Okay. Now I can see you. So you have some comments to make.
Sorry.
Do you have any comments? Anything to be said? You want to voice it
Sir,
out?
it was a very learning experience. We put in all our efforts, we put in our practice, we put in our thoughts, everything. But when the moment arrives, I think it just vanishes. It's just the fear that captures us.
Yeah.
So I think once we understand how to remain calm automatically everything falls into place, I suppose. So I guess over the couple of weeks, I think we are going to practice and make ourselves better. And hopefully when you return, you would see a better version of all of us.
Yeah, I would like to
So,
hear from.
so yeah, so probably
By
we'll
the way,
all be winners.
what do you do, by the way?
I was an HR specialist. Right now, I've taken a maternity break, so I'm at home right now.
Mm-hmm. And where are you from?
I'm basically in Dubai right now as I speak.
Oh, in Dubai, okay.
Great, Dr. Kishore. And thank you, Deepa. I think we are ready with the results. So are you all excited to know who the winners are? Right? All right, Doctor. Let me just share my screen. So Dr. Kishore, let's start with the second runner-up and then we'll go backwards. All right?
Yes. I think that you can announce that name.
Sure, Doctor. I would love you to announce the name. I will just say, are you ready for the second runner-up? All of you, are you ready? The second runner-up. The second runner-up is none other than Dr. Kishore.
Yeah, Sushant Kumar.
Big round of applause for Sushant. Fantastic, Sushant. Fantastic. Great going. And
congratulations, Sushant.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Now let's move on. The first runner-up. The first runner-up. The first runner-up is Dr. Kishore. Could you announce that, please?
Yes. Mr. Manikandan.
Manikandan. Big round of applause for Manikandan. Great going, Mani. Great going. Your alarm clock saved you. Superb.
Good.
And now the moment we have been waiting for. The moment we have been waiting for. The winner of today's championship. The winner of today's championship. The best speaker today, when everybody, all of you were fantastic, all of you did really well, but we have to choose one winner. So the person who did slightly better than most of you here was none other than
yes, Deepa. Me.
Deepa. Fantastic, Deepa. Fantastic. So, Deepa, please share your address on the WhatsApp group. This is one of my favorite books, which is called Building a Story Brand. You will be getting this book. Read this book. It will open up your mind about how you can use stories extremely impactfully to take your communication skills to the next level, right?
Thank
and
you
of
so
course,
much.
we will be discussing about, so big round of applause for Deepa. And of course, for Sushant and Mani and all the participants for being so sporty, for preparing. And of course, we'll have a feedback of this session during our next session. All right. Now, I would want all of you to once again give a big round of applause to Dr. Kishore for spending his valuable time and for enlightening us, for encouraging us, for motivating us, with his knowledge, with his experience. And thank you so much, Dr. Kishore. It truly means a lot.
It's my pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. All the best to all of you. My best wishes are always with you guys. All right.
Thank you. Thank you,
you
Dr.
so much.
Kishore. You have a fantastic evening ahead.
Thank you. You too.
And yes, everybody, of course, you cannot leave today. I know we are slightly overboard. I'll just take 5 minutes of your time. The assignments. How can you go back without any assignments? So what is the assignment for the day? Somebody please take a screenshot, share it on our group. The assignment for the day is prepare at least one event-based story or observational story. Minimum 2 to 3 slides. Sorry, maximum 2 to 3 slides, and be ready to present it during our next session. You have to use all the techniques that you have learned so far while presenting. Maximum 5 minutes per person. So this time it's not going to be a speech. This time you're going to present using a deck, using slides. 2 to 3 slides max. How you use, what you put inside it, you use images, you use text, you use quotes. I leave it completely up to you. I repeat, prepare at least one event-based story or observational story. I gave you an example of event-based, the one in which I showed you the apartments that I shifted for ensuring, that my wife does not, go into any kind of depression, and the observational story about the escalator, right? So pick any event-based or observational story. If it is from your real life, nothing like it, because you'll get added points for that, and you'll get 5 minutes to present this. Everybody clear on this? Give me a thumbs up. Clear on this? Fantastic. So, like always, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. We'll end with a small video of one of my favorite movies, Rocky. I'm a big fan of Sylvester Stallone, and he has something very important to say to all of you. Have a look, and good night to all of you. All right?
So you're going through with this?
Yeah, I start trading tomorrow.
Hey, Ralph, I made some connections. I could make some money on this, endorsements.
Absolutely, do that.
Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
Okay. So you nervous about the fight?
They're scared to death.
You don't look scared?
Well, you ain't supposed to.
Then you don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, I think I do.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is going to be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Oh, what, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself. And this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke, and that I'm gonna be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this. Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.
Thank you all. Good night. Take care.